What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another fantasy draft. And today, obviously, I'm doing fantasy baseball again. Mock drafts the same way over and over and over again. Basically, the last one I did was a fantasy baseball auction mock draft, and the first one I did was a 12-team regular mock draft. If you do watch these all the way through, you get to listen to me ramble about sports for about 45 minutes on end. So it's a fun time for me. If you guys like discussing sports, then it'd be a fun time for you. But I like that Yahoo has now added their average draft pick feature because it's a little bit better than the rankings. I mean, it can be misguided at times, but as a whole, it's one of my favorite features. I don't think ESPN gives you this, and it's something, like I said, that's very nice to have, since a lot of the rankings will get thrown off by injuries, downfalls in the players, just overall value, and then Yahoo doesn't update their rankings. But okay, so we drafted Paul Goldschmidt first. Take Trout second any day. This is an 8-team league, if you guys didn't see on the right, and managed to get 7 of the 8 spots filled, which is pretty good for a draft that's this late at night. I don't know why I like doing mock drafts so late at night, but for me it's, like I said, just fun to do. If you guys haven't seen my last 2 mock drafts, I'll put the link to basically my entire mock draft playlist in the description below. I think it also has baseball, basketball, baseball, basketball, football, and hockey. I think it's got a little bit of everything. I don't get the whole genre. If you guys have looked at my other drafts, Giancarlo Stanton this year, I think that he's going to have a big year. And picking up a guy that's going to get you likely upwards of 40 home runs and 110 RBIs is something that I think is very worth taking a top 7 at least pick on. I wonder if this guy's going to get Stanton with this pick. I feel like he's going to take Chris Bryant for some reason. But if you guys saw my last one also, check it out. I did an auction draft, and it took forever. I was on the draft for 2 hours. I think only 45, maybe an hour was recorded, and I couldn't do any more. At least record it. It would have taken 6 hours. And after 2 hours, I only had, I want to say, somewhere around 6 picks done, and it just took so long. Forgot how long mock drafts take for leagues that are this deep. So when you're doing something like fantasy football where there's only 12 picks to make, it takes about half the time. But with baseball, there's just so many picks. All same way, you only got 12 picks, and it's pretty easy to get through. Alright, so I got an outfielder to start. I'm a big AJ Pollock fan. Well, this is a tough one. I'm going to go José Bautista. I think that's the obvious option. Well, everyone in that section left. See how good of a team I can build here. My last 2 teams have been good, but not great. You can get a little bit better as time goes along. fantasy baseball is always a big hit or miss for me. That's what it always seems. Seems one year I'll get just a killer team, and then the next year they'll all get injured. That's always been a big problem for me. I think I mentioned that in my first fantasy draft, was my players always get injured. Like I said, not like... I know that it's a long season for baseball, a lot of people get injured at it as is, but for me it's more than the norm. I don't know if it's just because I pick injury-prone players. Sometimes I have a tendency to do that just because I believe the risk is worth the reward. I don't mind having these guys be on auto picks. It only takes like 5 or 10 seconds to pick for them then. It goes by real quick. This is another thing I like about Yahoo's online drafts, and this very quick, very smooth. I don't think you need more than 30 seconds to pick, especially in a mock draft. ESPN gives you like a minute and a half, just I think too much time. It takes a really, really long time to get through. Alright, see if Madison Bumgarner's still there by the time my pick comes around. Got enough power. Oh yeah, that guy left too. Alright, so I guess another guy on auto pick. Oh, that sucks. Okay. Let's go. Don't know if I want to go Jose Cranky. Should have a lot of offensive support this year. Jesus Christ. Alright. David Price reached down a little bit. Another guy who I think is going to be huge this year. I'm going to go with more pitching, pick up King Felix. He's always been a favorite draft pick of mine. Did not a great year last year, but guy that's been a career just dominant pitcher and pitching in a pretty pitcher-friendly ballpark. I think that him and the Mariners are going to have a better year this year. Todd Frazier at 35. It's crazy. I'm going to go through the rankings and see who people are kind of reaching for the most. Corey Seager. Lost a lot this offseason. Mainly the pitching department, it seems like. When Buster Posey was picked up. Probably around 20. Oh, 14. Oh. I think Buster Posey's a little bit of a reach at 14. He's also the clear-cut best catcher, so I guess you can look at it either way. It's being a good pick or a bad pick. Here's another one of my favorites for this year is Robinson Cano. Guy that didn't have a terrible season last year. I think he's just going to be so much better this year. Rough year in Seattle last year. Let's go ahead and swipe Matt Harvey. I think I already filled out my 2 starting. Yeah, that'd make my pitching really stacked. Decisions. fuck it. We'll go with Matt Harvey. I got another pick pretty soon. I'm not big on Schwarber that high this year. A lot of young players for the Cubs. They're supposed to be extremely good, and I don't know, it's tempting though. Do need a catcher. Let's pick 50. I think he's good enough to pick up at 50. Just so much young talent for the Cubs. Could be even better this year, or could all just completely collapse, and a lot of the players, sophomore, I guess a lot of players maybe go into sophomore slumps. Again, I guess you really never know. For me, the most risky teams for you to take for their players are definitely the Cubs, Mets, and Astros. All three of those teams are supposed to be very good this year, but it's just hard to trust upstart teams like that to be good the following year. One of them is going to end up being bad, at least in my opinion. Not to deny the talent available on all three teams, though. It's definitely there. I need to start picking up infield. So let's go through the first baseman, second baseman, third baseman. Oh yeah, never mind, I already got a first baseman. Second base, very, very thin this year. I wonder how Kipnis is supposed to be this year. Kipnis was a high draft pick last year. Even Kinsler seems like a pretty solid guy to go with. Maybe Dozier. Probably just going to wait on that for a little bit. Shortstop seems to be one of the more loaded positions this year. Also need to start picking up relief pitchers. Rolling with what I think is some pretty stacked pitching right now. I need to go back. See if, I'm a big Francisco Lindor fan. Let's go ahead and pick up Yasiel Puig. Round out a solid outfield. And then start moving into the bulk of the infielders now. I think it was a little bit too early to start reaching for the rest of the infield positions that I needed. We'll look to the drafted second baseman. Like I said, Robinson Cano to me is just a solid pickup this year, a really thin position. Altuve pretty much the clear-cut best one at the position to me, and D. Gordon will obviously put up a lot of stolen bases for you. But outside of that, I don't know. There's not much there. It's one of those positions where if you can find a sleeper, you got one you're confident in, it's definitely one to pull the trigger. It's one position you should definitely pull the trigger on. Weird to see Dustin Pedroia so far down. Just a couple years ago, he's one of the top players at the position. Josh Harrison is one to me that's kind of intriguing for this year. One of the better sleepers for me. Also, Javier Baez. I think Baez is actually going to end up getting traded, though. Guy that has not lived up to any of his hype so far. Someone already drafted Lindor. Yeah, Lindor. Man. I'm gonna go with, let's see what's available in relief pitchers really quickly. Jansen, no. I was just looking at shortstops. Third baseman. I'm gonna reach a little bit for Evan Longoria. A little bit early for him, but he's one of the more quality guys available right now. And we'll go for Kinsler. Infield that would have been really solid. Well, pairing right there that would have been really solid 3 years ago. Still is solid, but just not as good. Still, to me, though, very good team so far. I'll try to pick up Addison Russell a little bit later. See what I still need. I still need a relief pitcher, shortstop, and then start filling in the utilities pitcher and bench. Shortstop at this point is really thin. Yeah, I could probably wait a little bit on that. See who's available at pitcher. Familia. Probably not going to make it all the way to me. I mentioned this in my last two. This is about the time where it starts to get very intriguing for me for starting pitchers. I believe this is a very good area for starting pitchers. I've got a lot of faith in Stroman this year. I got a lot of faith in Waka. Yu Darvish, I think, could have a big year. Colin McHugh, Michael Pineda, Rizzo Iglesias, Jake Odorizzi, Gio González, Steven Matz, Brad Boxberger. I think will be a very, very solid closer this year. We'll see what points this is at so far. 18 minutes in. This one has actually gone by pretty quickly. Don't know how long I'm going to go through this one, but let's go ahead and go Familia. Okay. Let's go Masahiro Tanaka. Yeah. So I'm probably going to look to pick up shortstop in the next pick I have. Maybe utility. Like I said, I could wait a little bit on shortstop. A couple of the ones that I want are coming on a little bit later in the draft. I'm going to pick up Billy Hamilton. I keep on to get some stolen bases later in the draft. Billy Hamilton's the guy. Especially at a utility spot. You're not going to get much more out of him than stolen bases, but if you're willing to spend pick 30 on D. Gordon to get you that many stolen bases, Billy Hamilton will probably get you more. He can save you quite a few picks. I really like my lineup, though. This 18 league, it's bound to look a little bit better. Let's look through some of the other ones right quick. Okay, that's definitely not the button I was looking for. That one's alright. It's a good lineup. Very poor pitching staff. Just nothing. That one's okay. Just try to rely on young players. Alright. Let's go to pitchers. Oh man. Oh man, I don't know. Oh, it's gonna pick for me. Let's go to Ellsbury. Yeah, it's gonna pick for me. Oh, they got me Ellsbury. Cool. Alright. Let's get Ellsbury and then Billy Hamilton, and that'll round out my utility. Excited for spring training to get back, though. Signifies the beginning of the end for, well, obviously football, Super Bowl being tomorrow, college football already being over. Also signifies the end for basketball and hockey, which sucks. This is one of my favorite times of the year for sports, though. I'm big into lacrosse, so having college lacrosse back is cool. And then obviously hockey and basketball in the meat of their seasons, and then college basketball going on strong as well. Alright, let's go ahead and get that shortstop. Might be able to, like I said, I try to change up each video I do, make each one a little bit different, just so it's like actually worth watching. And I think this one I'm just going to actually go through the full draft since it's going by so quickly. We'll do about 25 minutes in. Not even 25, and almost through 17 rounds, 16 rounds, excuse me. But like I said, this one's going by pretty quickly. I think I'm most happy with the team I've drafted yet. I guess the cool thing about ESPN is when a team's on auto pick, the pick just goes by in like half a second. It's no time at all. It's like having to wait 10 seconds for this one. Doesn't seem like that much time to begin with, but after a while, obviously it adds up. Alright. Let's see if it's even, I don't think it's worth picking up a shortstop yet. Like I said, this is the meat of the pitcher area, so I don't want to lose any players that are too good. Let's go ahead and get Taijuan Walker. And get Héctor Rondón. And I think that beyond that does round out my pitchers, so need to fill that shortstop position now, and it looks like next pick will be the exact right time to do it. Looking at probably either Brandon Crawford or Addison Russell. I think that the Giants are going to be really good this year, and Brandon Crawford's a guy that is definitely worth picking up. I think Addison Russell will be good as well this year. Jung Ho Kang's kind of intriguing too. Don't know how long he's injured for though. Day to day, so it shouldn't be a problem, I don't think. One of the bigger problems with taking the catcher so high is the meat of the catcher position is right around this spot, and again, you miss a chance on getting a really, really good shortstop. You guys can see there, shortstop very top heavy, Correa, Machado, Tulowitzki. I think someone drafted Tulowitzki like 19th. I'm big on Machado. I think he'll be very good this year. I think he's one of the better picks you can make in the first round. He's got a later first round pick. Perfect. Alright. So I rounded out my starters. Just need to get bench players now. So I'm just going to try to go through some sleepers now. Alright. Some I haven't really done yet, just because every video I've had to do ends seemingly so early. I think Jay Bruce could be an interesting guy this year, a guy that ends up getting traded into a good situation. If you're looking to dig a little bit deep for an outfielder, I think he's the guy that you could definitely go for. Alright, let's see about a backup catcher. It's something I always like to get early. Okay, well, apparently the rankings ran out, so that's a problem. Okay, it's gonna auto draft for me. Damn it. Okay, Curtis Granderson. No, Albert Pujols. Okay, that's not a bad one. Wait, yeah, it is. Damn it. Okay. Make a decision before the picks are. Let's actually get where to go. Endurance Arte just taken off the board. I think he's a hit or miss this year, depending on how Atlanta does as a whole. Atlanta seems like one of the building contenders that could definitely have a breakthrough year this year and next year. I'm building around Freddie Freeman. I think the big question is with their pitching staff. Obviously, they haven't a clear direction to go in. Addison Russell. Oh man, what do we take next? Good Gio González. This is the first year I've had faith in the Nationals, so let's see if it'll actually pay off. Let's go really deep in the rankings, see what I can find. Byron Buxton. I think Nori Aoki could be a solid guy this year. A little bit of a low-key upgrade too. The Mariners outfield. Obviously not a guy to reach for, but like I said, another guy, Josh Harrison's pretty intriguing to me. Gerardo Parra. I think he's going to miss a little bit of time this year. I can't remember why, but we're going to reach for Josh Harrison next pick. let's see how long this draft's going to take overall. A little bit over 30 minutes. So just to give you guys an idea of how quick this actually went by. I believe the total draft time for the auction draft I didn't do the entire thing. I auto-drafted about out. I added a lot of players. And then I'd already spent the bulk of my salary by about my 8th or 9th pick, so I set the rest of a couple sleepers to my queue and then just let it go. And like I said, for the first 8 or 9 players, it took about 2.5 hours, but I think the total draft time was somewhere in the realm of 6 hours. For the same amount of picks, just too long. I like auction drafts just because there's a little bit of different strategy to it, but it just takes so damn long. Alright, let's see if I can find... You know what? This is an interesting guy. We're going to take Michael Conforto to finish the draft. I think he could be really good this year. I remember seeing Michael Conforto on the U.S. national team a couple years back. Definitely one of the bigger prospects. Alright, so that'll do it. I'll show you guys a little recap of my team. We got Kyle Schwarber, Anthony Rizzo, Ian Kinsler, Evan Longoria, Brandon Crawford, Mike Trout, José Bautista, Yasiel Puig, Jacoby Ellsbury, Billy Hamilton, David Price, King Felix, Aroldis Chapman, Jeurys Familia, Matt Harvey, Masahiro Tanaka, Taijuan Walker, Héctor Rondón, Albert Pujols, who I did not draft, that was auto-drafted for me, Addison Russell, Gio González, Josh Harrison, and Michael Conforto. So happy with my team. I think it's probably the best one I've drafted yet. I'm not just saying that because the other two were bad. I don't even think the other two were that bad. I thought they were honestly pretty good. But like I said, if you haven't seen the other two yet, go look. I'll put the link to the entire playlist in the description below. That's pretty